Good afternoon to one and all. Mr. Merritt, what business do you have before the court this afternoon?
If it pleases the court, Your Honor, I have the distinct honor and privilege today of presenting a candidate for admission to the Florida Bar. Before we do that, I have an introduction to make. We have with us the paternal uncle of our candidate, Mr. Waddell Biggert, who's a member of the Washington, D.C. Bar, and he wants to briefly address the court.
Very well. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. My nephew is a sixth-generation Floridian, a graduate of HHS, where he was the president of the senior class, a graduate of the University of Florida, and a diehard Gator, and also a graduate of the University of Louisville Law School. We have, during the course of his education, counseled him extensively, but, Your Honor, unfortunately, I think he's still a Republican.
Way to go, Jim.
It is indeed with a great deal of pleasure and immense pride that I'm able to join him this afternoon for this swearing-in ceremony.
Very well. Thank you.
Your Honor, if it further pleases the court, by way of introduction and by way of why I'm here doing the presenting, the Merritt family and the Biggert family go back for a number of years. And in fact, his dad and I were yard children together. And that goes back more years than I want to talk about.
I've heard people say you still are sometimes.
Matter of fact, that's very true. Gary hardly ever comes to my home that we don't go out in the yard still. A lot of people know what we're talking about. But also, I had the privilege to meet his mother at the University of Florida when she was a stunning co-ed. She's no longer a co-ed, but she is still very stunning. And as you said, his father still is a yard child. But I've had the pleasure of watching this young man because I've really known him all of his life. And I've watched him grow from an aggravating, obnoxious, irritating little kid and mature and grow into an aggravating, obnoxious, mature adult.
Sounds like he's good material to be an attorney.
As Mr. Biggert has stated to the court, he attended the Institution of Higher Learning to our north at the University of Florida, and then he received his bachelor's degree there. He then attended a lower institution of learning, the University of Louisville, but nevertheless received his Juris Doctorate degree there, which satisfies the requirements for admission to the Florida Bar. He has taken the Florida Bar exam and passed both the Florida section and the multi-state section. He has been investigated by the Florida Board of Bar Examiners as to his character and his worthiness to become a member of the bar. When they inquired of me, I left out a certain number of instances of which I'm aware. So they have, in any event, approved him and said that he is worthy for admission to the bar. So at this time, I would recommend to the court and would present James Garrett Biggert II to your honor for the administration of the oath of attorney to the Florida Bar.
Thank you, Mr. Merritt. Let me just say, I'm not one for making speeches, but I couldn't help but note some of the things, and I make these remarks to James. James, first of all, when your mother approached me about administering the oath of office to you, I felt very honored, and it's indeed a privilege, and I cherish the opportunity to pass the torch, so to speak, to the next generation of attorneys coming forward. But let me say this, that there's a lot more to this proceeding, apparently, than meets the eye. For I, too, was a graduate of Hernando High School. I, too, had the honor of being my class president. I, too, at the time I took my oath, was a member of the United States military. Although, fortunately, I was in the right part of the Navy, the Marine Corps. I think that those are interesting coincidences, probably, but nevertheless, very meaningful, to at least to me. Also, I would like to tell you that the oath that I'm about to administer to you is handed down from the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, who administered the oath to me 20 years ago this month, 1974. So, for many reasons, this is a meaningful ceremony for me. And if you ever have the opportunity and the luxury and pleasure of administering an oath such as I'm about to administer to you to someone else, later down the road, you can indeed tell them that the oath you're administering has its roots and foundations in the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. So with no further ado, if you and Mr. Merritt would come forward, we will administer the oath. Mr. and Ms. Biggert, if you'd like to join your son, I think that would be perfect. James Garrett Biggert II, if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Florida.
and the Constitution of the State of Florida.
I will maintain the respect due the courts
I will maintain the respect due the courts
of justice and judicial officers.
of justice and judicial officers.
I will not counsel or maintain any suit or proceeding
I will not counsel or maintain any suit or proceeding
which shall appear to me to be unjust,
which shall appear to me to be unjust,
nor any defense except such as I believe to be honestly debatable
nor any defense except as such that I believe to be honestly debatable
under the law of the land.
under the law of the land.
I will employ for the purpose of maintaining the causes
I will employ for the purposes of maintaining the causes
confided to me such means
confided to me such means
only as are consistent with truth
only as are consistent with truth
and honor,
and honor,
and will never seek to mislead the judge
and will never seek to mislead the judge
or jury by any artifice
or the jury by any artifice
or false statement of fact or law.
or false statement of fact or law.
I will maintain the confidence and reserve inviolate
I will maintain the confidence and reserve inviolate
the secrets of my client,
the secrets of my client,
and will accept no compensation
and will accept no compensation
in connection with his business
in connection with his business
except from him
except from him
or with his knowledge and approval.
or with his knowledge and approval.
I will abstain from all offensive personality
I will abstain from all offensive personality
and advance no fact prejudicial to the honor
and advance no fact presidential to the honor
or reputation
or reputation
of a party or witness,
of a party or witness,
unless required by the justice of the cause
unless required by the justice of the cause
with which I am charged.
with which I am charged.
I will never reject
I will never reject
from any consideration
from any consideration
personal to myself
personal to myself
the cause of the defenseless or oppressed,
the cause of the defenseless or oppressed,
or delay any man's cause
or delay any man's cause
for lucre or malice.
for lucre or malice.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, you are now a member of the Florida Bar. I give to you the newest member, ladies and gentlemen, James Garrett Biggert II. Congratulations. Mr. Mayor, are there any other matters you want to bring before the court at this time?
If it pleases the court, Your Honor, I would just like to make a few brief comments. First of all, as now one of the older members of the local bar and one of the more experienced members, I think it's incumbent on us as attorneys to promote the ideals of professionalism in our practice. These the recent law graduates that I have encountered seem to be sorely lacking in this area. And I would like to impress on Jim that that's something that he should do. And as long as I'm around and know anything about it, if he does not adhere to those principles, then he will be sorely chastised by me. And I'm sure any judges that he practices before. In the practice of the profession, there are some things that are important, at least in what I feel. I think an attorney should be honest, and an honest attorney is not an oxymoron, believe it or not. There are those of us out there that practice who are honest. In fact, the majority of attorneys who practice are honest, but we're getting a bad rap lately, and we need to improve on it, and we're going to have to count on the newer members of the profession to do it. Integrity is another important factor. You've got to live by your reputation. You make your money by your reputation, but more importantly than that, you live by your reputation. So you should always have integrity and deal with other attorneys in that manner, and always with a sense of legal ethics. Those two things are tied together, but they're extremely important. You should always strive to be diligent in your work. It's been said that the law is a jealous mistress, and that's true, but you need to strike a balance between representing your clients and balance with your family. In representing your clients, you have a duty to do the best job that you can do for them, and that's part of the diligence that I'm speaking of. You have to do that in addition to your preparation. Judge Springstead will tell you, as will any judge, that if you're not prepared when you come to court, you're not going to gain the respect of the judiciary, and you're not going to gain the respect of the other attorneys. These are just some things. I see I have an opportunity today. I don't always get to preach at you because you wouldn't always listen to me when you were growing up. But I've got a little chance to tell you some of my feelings about that at this time. The practice of the law is an honorable profession. It's almost like a calling. You shouldn't practice law just to make money. And obviously it's important to make money, and you've got to support yourself, you've got to support a family eventually, probably, if you can find some girl that'll have you. But as part of that, the money really should not be the most important consideration. In the long run, you'll get a lot more satisfaction, personal satisfaction, out of being able to help people that need help. And you'll know that you've been able to get them over some rough spots in their life. And that is a very important thing to consider. And also, it's a sad commentary that the Florida Bar at this point has to require attorneys to do pro bono work. This should be done on a volunteer basis as far as I'm concerned. The people who are financially disadvantaged and oppressed deserve representation just as much as the rich people do. And you have an obligation as an attorney to see that a portion of your time is set aside to help those folks as well as your paying clients. So I want to congratulate you at this time. I want to welcome you as a member of the Florida Bar. I used to get to say a brother at the bar, but now we have sisters too. But as a member of the Florida Bar, and wish you a long and successful career.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Merrick. Mr. Baker, do you have some final words for your nephew?
As a member of the Florida Bar for over 27 years, I would like to echo what Mr. Merritt has said. Your reputation is the most important thing that you will carry through life. And I just happened to think back when I was sworn in, it was a month after he was born. And unfortunately, he's not got the gray hair at this point in time. So he is going, like as you charged him initially, carry forward to, and if you ultimately are in the area of being able to administer the oath to someone else, remember the day that the oath was administered to you.
Mr. Bigger, congratulations once again. If there are no other matters for the court's consideration this afternoon, we'll stand in recess.
Everyone rise.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court stands in recess.
Thank you. Let me know.
Thank you very much.
Judge, I gotta take issue with one thing you said.
What?
As a member of the White Shoe Navy, you left off one part of the description of your military service. You're in the Marine Corps, otherwise known as the Jarheads.
That's right.
That's got to come out.
But you're not a squid, are you?
That's right. Not our swabby either. Well, what's he headed to justice school?
He's going to learn how to be an officer, I think, but it's right. Let's finish that.
Go back to the airport.
One thing you've got to learn, also say
I know this low. You don't know this guy. You know, he took a course at come out at the end of the summer and you get your results. November when you take it.
really a problem.
I remember I could hard go to his
30 hours.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate you. All right, we're getting it out. I'm going to
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
I just happen to remember. I took the oath.
I've got an idea. I'm going to talk to this man right now. I'll see y'all later.
You're gonna not go back. We talked things together and
So, Clay.